4, who are your inspirations in the world of journalism and broadcasting that influenced you to this point in your career? I know we have talked about this before, but it's been a while since we've gone over it, so we probably have new listeners since then, so we'll go over it again because it's been quite a while.
I'll talk about it anytime.
You go first, Jessi.
I would say broadcast wise, because I did before I got into writing, I always had dreamed of doing like writing and video and radio and kind of doing it all, which thankfully we've been able to do that now. But I did want to be on TV and on camera and do more of that. So Linda Cohen was my favorite because she did hockey too, right?
Yeah.
Like there wasn't many folks that did hockey, and there especially wasn't too many females that were very well versed in hockey. So Linda Cohen, when I was growing up, was kind of the gal that I looked up to, and she did it with so much fun and she did it so well that she was awesome. And then Michael Russo too will feed a penny into his ego bank.
Yeah, I was
a little
say,
bit,
like, he needs it.
I know, but he's the best, right?
There's
absolutely no denying that he is. You want to be like Russo, right?
He makes me want to be like a journalist, and I'm literally on the broadcasting side. I'm like, you know what? He's so good at that. I kind of want to do it. It looks like fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And he does it the right way too. Like, I think for me, that's always the biggest thing. Like, he's still pretty well liked. If there's a guy that he has a problem with, he goes and chats with them, and he has that. He cares about the character of guys and stuff. He's never trying to ream someone out or hang someone over the ledge. He's just doing his job, and I think he does a phenomenal job at it. So he's obviously on that list too. I remember before I like got into this and I would see Russo, and the first time that he like kind of knew who I was, and I was like, you know me? Really? Yeah. And now it's nothing, right? Now it's just like, it's just Russo, right?
Yeah.
Like, now I can rib him a little bit.
I remember when he followed me on Twitter, which wasn't even that long ago. I was like, I've made it. Russo follows me on Twitter.
Yeah,
like, now I know. Now I know.
Oh, gosh. any retweet from Russo, the Russo bump, and all of a sudden you have like 1,000 new followers. Like, cool. That's great. So, no, thank you. Shout out to Michael Russo because he's awesome. And shout out to Linda Cohen. How about for you? Who's been your inspiration?
Mine. So when I'm on the broadcasting side of things, and I always knew that I wanted to do broadcasting. I dabbled in other stuff in college, like I wrote for the school newspaper and whatnot, but I always knew that broadcasting was what I wanted to do. So when I was a kid, Marnie Gellner was the person that I looked up to, which my ultimate goal, for those who don't know, is to do play-by-play for TV for the NHL. So there's no women in that role right now, or there never was. So I didn't really have like an exact direct role model of like, I want to do that job specifically. But Marnie, before she shifted over to mostly like Timberwolves and Twins and stuff, she did a lot of wild stuff. She basically did what Kevin Gore does like a long time ago. And so I always thought that was so cool because when I was a kid, I didn't watch any other sports besides hockey. So I know there was other women in like the football realm who were doing it and stuff, but I never really watched other sports. So it was pretty much just FSN. And at the time, Marnie Gellner was the only woman on FSN. Yeah. And so I looked up to her because I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I want to do that job. Like, how fun would it be to be around the athletes and be at the games? And like, I just thought it was so cool. And then as I got older, more women started coming into the scene and I started watching other sports. So I was exposed to more women across other sports doing it. And as I got older and older, it seemed more and more possible. So yeah, I always say Marnie Gellner, and she knows this too. I've tweeted about it. I've told her before, and she's always like, oh my God, like she can't believe that like someone my age like looked up to her. I'm like,
because she's done play-by-play for right, the Wolves and for the Link.
The Twins.
I mean, she's the Twins. Like.
And so
she's broken those barriers.
She is awesome. And I mean, we had Marnie on the show a couple months ago now, but she is just such a great person as well. And I know when I interned at FSN when I was in college, and I remember it was after a Timberwolves game one night, she just sat and talked to me for like a half an hour. Like, it's late. We've all been there for like 12 hours. We've all had a long day. She's got kids she wants to go home to. And she just sat outside the production truck and answered all of my questions for literally like a half an hour. And I told her, I was like, thank you so much for like sticking around and talking to me. Like, we all want to go home, I know, and like everyone's tired. And so she is just a cool person, really good at her job, a great role model, and I've looked up to her since I was a kid. Thankfully now there's a lot more people to look up to as well, but she was the first one for me, and it was a good one to look up to, that's for sure.
It's funny you mentioned that on FSN. So I had interned at FSN myself back in like 2008. So well before you.
Like 10 years
Marnie,
before me.
Yeah, Marnie was there. Anthony LaPanta was there.
Yeah.
And Ann Carroll was there. And I remember working late one night because as my internship role at that time was basically hitting play record and recording different clips and then going through and marking them down. You know, there really wasn't much to it. But as with anything, and I encourage anybody in any internship, go out and ask people the questions that you want, right? Like I knew I didn't want to sit and press play record the whole time, and that was going to be it for my internship. So I remember there, and Carol and I had the same type of thing. Like it's midnight, right? And the games are just done. And she sat down and she was like, all right, come to me with some live shoots and come and do this and that. And I mean, kind of had taken me under her wing. And I think that just speaks to the people at FSN. Like
they are
every person there is amazing. Like they're so nice and they're so willing to help. And that internship program was so great. I'm not sure if they still do it now or not.
I think they do. Yeah. Cause I know I did it. I'm pretty sure it was 2018. We might've been exactly 10 years apart. I think it was 2018 that I did mine. And I know there's a few people after me who I went to school with also.
You got paid? Did you get paid though?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Nope. No payment here. I had to I think it was, I had to take the semester off of school even to like do it. And then it was like, I got my credit for that or whatever.
No, the FSM people are amazing because so like there was one day that I was shadowing I shadowed Anthony and Greenlay up in the press box for a Wild game. And I remember the game, it was against the Flames and it went into a shootout. And I remember the FSN people, like the producers and stuff, telling me, they were like, we've never let anyone do an intern do this before. Like normally they don't get to sit up here. And I was like, okay. So I was like all nervous. Like I didn't want to like say or do anything wrong. And I was sitting next to Anthony, and during one intermission, he literally just like, without me really even asking, we were just kind of chatting. He just all of a sudden goes into his entire, like how he started and how he got to where he was, just took the entire intermission to talk to me and like explain to me, like, you know, how he got to where he is and all the people who helped him along the way. And I still I always remember that because I thought that was so cool. I'm like, it's the middle of a game. He probably has a million other things he could be doing, a million other people who he could be talking to. And he just sits and talks to me this whole time. So very similar to the Marnie thing where it's like, we're tired. It's been a long day. For those who don't know, like anytime you're doing like production based stuff, broadcast, like that is like a 12, 13, 14 hour day. I mean, you're working on stuff from the morning until the game is done. And so anytime those people take time to like explain stuff to me, I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. I know everyone's tired. It's been a long day. And it's very nice to have people who care about, you know, helping the younger people, because without people like that, Jessi nor I would be where we are today, or it would take us longer to get to where we are. And so I know I'm super thankful for those people we looked up to as Jessi is as well, because it takes people who know what they're doing to help people who don't know what they're doing yet.